Folks, I think there is a hole in the market for real estate education. I want to share this with my good friend Dion from Dion Talk, because I think when you think about what Dion does in the parking lot, what I do in the stands, and of course Matt does on the field, I think it might be a collection of all three of us creating this new asset. But we're going to talk to Dion about it. How you doing, buddy?
Howdy, I'm doing great. I actually like it when you bring up topics like this and you say, I want to talk about this topic, and you get to find out what it is during the video.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't do prep on this. So let me kind of set the stage. So I was at a real estate meetup in Mountain View, California, let's say 6 or 8 weeks ago. It's a great setup. But a lot of the questions were around basically how do I get started? And it's not how do I get started with the buy box and my normal talk track and you know the great course, how to get started one it's all the time is that. It was actually a step before that. Like I'm interested, I'm excited, but how do I pick a market? Right? How do you do all of that? So I took a stab at creating that event, that story in PowerPoint. I took a shot at doing the free video over the weekend, which again I think I think it provided value for folks as the feedback. But the end of that is I think something new needs to be created. And my initial vision, and maybe this is just the wrong vision, was, hey, if I can go find 50 people that want to ride with this for the next 6 months, 8 months, we'll do 10 2-hour days, which we'll schedule as they occur. We'll record them because obviously our goal would be to help those 50 move the ball forward. But at the end of that, I wanted to create an asset that can be redeployed. People can pick up, right? Just follow this recipe, right, to get to the market. I haven't really talked about it, marketed. Again, if this would, let me be clear, this would be a one-time thing. I have no interest in committing large chunks of my life going forward. That's not what I'll do. But if I could do 50 people, 10 days, spread out over 6 months, help them and then help others, I think it's pretty valuable. But now that I think about it, I don't know that there's 50 people out there that really want to be recorded, be around for years to come, see that they were novice, folks. So maybe that's the wrong approach. Maybe the idea is I just need to go create raw material, or we need to go create, or I don't know what the answer is. But I think there's a hole in the market about getting to the buy box. And it's just rattling around in my head. I don't know what to do with it.
So initial thoughts, having, watching your event and hearing you mention, a chronological timeline of people getting started.
Right.
The problem with things like the free event, right? So two things. One, you've worked in sales. So the word free connotates no value. So
Exactly.
it's often you'll see $149 fee waived. Right. So it's still free, right? So the value. So because what you get when you offer the free things is you get the trolls.
Yeah.
You get, was it Fast Life or some, mentally challenged, probably real estate mindset under a fake account because everything sounded exactly the same, jumping in and going, hey, here's the flaw in whatever, just trying to cause waves.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would do, let's say you went through and you found 50 people and you said, okay, we're going to do this over this timeline. It's 50 people. It's free.
Not going to be
As
free.
much as
I'm
I
not
want to
giving
help
up my
provide
life.
free information, it's what we're here for. You can't do that because
No.
people, when people pay for attention, they pay attention. So
Absolutely.
I would want to make sure there was a fee associated with it so that you get people who are actually going to take action and take it seriously. And sometimes the take action is learn the market, learn the strategy, not find a deal. It's entirely possible that they just don't find that deal. It's not likely, right? But it's possible. I like the idea of taking somebody that's brand new through it and saying, okay, here's like Millennial Mike's channel. His first couple of videos, I don't have anything yet. Right. Yeah. I want you to see my journey from I don't have anything to where he's at now with, and double-digit units and investing in at a distance, and now doing Airbnb with his one that he locally self-manages. People can watch all the way through. Like that's the attraction to that. So I see the need to say, here's what it's like when we meet somebody and what it's like when it goes through. Because there was a long time where I would take calls or do Zoom calls or go and meet people. And I think I wasted a lot of time because it was just people going, wait, this guy on YouTube will talk to me? Great. I'll go. And they're not going to do anything.
No,
to the point where I was shocked when I meet people like Lane or Zhao or Josh or Dave or somebody, and they're like, yeah, I watch your content, it's pretty cool, let me ask you a couple of questions, and they don't hear anything. And then 3 or 4 months later, like, hey, I just closed on my duplex, and Dave moves across the country to do it, and Josh is doing it here right down the street. And when Zhao reached out, he was like, yeah, I closed it. I don't like my property manager. I'm going to self-manage. And I've got the next set of questions. And I'm like, okay, you have my attention. You'll get my time because you took action when we actually talked last time, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool for you to do that. Yeah.
We get jaded. Yeah. There's a lot of people. Like I tried to do that. I mean, before my course, How to Get Started One Rental, I had no intention. I retired. I was like, I'm going to give everything away. But then you can only have so much coffee. And like you, I got frustrated with people not doing anything. So hence the course, started at $99, is now $399 and is underpriced. Let's be very clear. It is way underpriced. We've got so much content there, the free Facebook group, all these other things. I absolutely will. My vision for this 10-day thing. So again, I'm committing 20 hours to this. I charge $800 an hour to talk to me. Think about that, 16 grand. I'm willing to give away everything I have now, which is another, I don't know, 2 grand worth of stuff. And I'm going to be, my vision was to charge $995 or $1,000. So again, people look at this and like, hey, you're going to make 50 grand on this. Sure. 50 people times $1,000, 50 grand. But again, 16 hours of my life, it's, we're going to do this. What I want is the asset at the end. I am now starting to think, Dion, I just need to buckle down and take my rough 10-day outline, which I've already outlined, poke at that, have friends that I trust kind of poke at it. Let's refine that. And then I should just go create the content and take a swag at it, as opposed to because I just love the idea of getting 50 people and let's say 32 show up every time and having real questions. But I understand hey, I don't want to be recorded. I don't want people this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm being trying to design a perfect solution, and maybe it's just like everything I do, I should just go and react later.
I hope you follow through with it, because here's the value that I see.
Mm-hmm.
How many times are you told it must be nice? You're so lucky, right? Your favorite term, you're so lucky. And you see the memes on Facebook. My mistake was I should have bought a house in 2011 during the crash instead of being in the 5th grade, right? Like that's the meme going around. Versus people don't realize half my portfolio was purchased after 2020, like in the current market, because of information like one rental at a time. In 2020, I think I've mentioned this a couple times in videos before, but it's been over a year. I sat back. Crash Bros were saying there's a pandemic, there's an eviction moratorium, people don't have to pay their rents, but interest rates were going down. And I said, so in 2020, I purchased my 4-plex and my triplex because interest rates were going down, which I wouldn't have paid attention to if I didn't find a channel like yours. At that time, I was like, oh, there's a lot of Crash Bros out there. A lot of reasons why you can have an excuse to not take action. So if you have right now in 2023, people are using this completely flawed method. They're saying the affordability index, and right now, because of the shift in remote working, it's a flawed system. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I think it was a great metric. Right now, it's flawed. And so you're going to hear it's the worst time in 52 years to ever buy a home. It's the most unaffordable, but people are buying them. So what we need now is examples of people that are doing the work right now in this market, getting started, getting that first one, getting the next one. It's right back to the same thing of people saying, if you're a Gen Z, you're just screwed because the boomers have messed everything up. Gen X and millennials. There are more 25-year-old Gen Zers who own homes than both millennials and Gen X did at 25. So we need more data to go out there and go, yeah, you can complain and you can whine and you can not take action, because you can see a little bit of data that makes it seem like it's justified. Or you can realize there's a bunch of other people over here that are actually doing it. And you can too.
No, I think that's exactly, I mean, I would love to do it. I mean, I think the right answer, because the other thing I don't think I do a great job is I'm going to do this one time. These 50 people that go through this, I'm going to do it one time. I won't ever do it again, because I don't need to, I don't enjoy, committing, 20 hours for the rest of my life. I've worked too hard to have that kind of around my neck, but I see the output being valuable for decades. Hence I'll do it once. right? And again, the other thing I'm willing to do, right, if somebody wanted to do this, is I'll give you everything I have. So let's say 3 or 4 people sign up. I got to wait till I get at least 15 or 20, and then we'll just start scheduling the days. But I'll give you the course. You can join the Facebook group, all the $50 courses. I'll give everything because I want these 50 people, the value to far exceed what they're going to get because I see the end result. But if it doesn't happen, I actually have a cruise coming up. I will probably map out what the 10 days might look like if I had to create and maybe I pepper in the other millionaires I know to tackle a topic. That actually might. Yeah, I'm gonna wait and see. If I can get a lot of people signed up and ready to rock and roll, we'll do it. We'll do it the way I envision. But I have a sneaky suspicion the right answer might be to take the time away at the cruise and just develop the syllabus or whatnot. So we'll see. Dion, how can people find you?
That's what I do when I travel.
Yeah.
I just spent a week in Boston with Matt, and there was one day where I locked myself in the hotel room for a day to wrap up that one rental at a time book and figure out why ACX is so hard to work with. You saw it. You saw the back and forth. It wasn't like, here's the issues you need to resolve. It's like, here's the issue. All right, so you do everything to fix that issue, and then you go, here's the next issue.
Yeah.
And then the next issue. So why couldn't they just give a list of here's the things you need to fix? But anyway, so when I'm traveling, I do the same thing. I figure out what's the next thing I'm going to do. Also make a couple of videos on the cruise because then the cruise becomes a tax write-off because you're saying, look, this was for the YouTube channel. Just a thought.
No, believe me, yeah, it's coming. Yeah, but I actually you hold on, you glossed over something, and I talked about on the daily financial news. One rental at a time is my seminal work, first book, thousands of reviews. It's been awesome. The one downside is I unfortunately paid a gob of money to have a robot read the book because I didn't know any better. I personally have never used Audible. I read paperback, right? I'm that old. So I picked a robot and it was a waste of money. And the feedback on Audible, when there is negative feedback, is about the robot voice. So you spent probably the last 6 months recording, and then actually you spent about a month recording and then about 5 months fighting Audible to fix issues. We have now submitted it successfully as of yesterday, I think at 5:00. My hope is over the next 10 business days, it will be up on Audible. And again, the other thing I want to mention is I could have published this as a new book, so people would have to buy it new. What we all worked on was I'm still hopeful that it just gets reloaded and people get access to you reading it. That's how we did it. That was our intention. We're not sure Audible will allow us to do that because I'm sure Audible wants to get their cut, but we shall see.
Well, I'm hopeful that if we are able to pull it off and replace the existing book so everybody just gets the access to it if they've already bought it, maybe they go back and re-edit their
that's okay
review of the narrator, so people go, that doesn't sound like a robot. But
I know that guy. Well, one more time, where can people find you?
Okay, last thoughts here, and then they can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. And is why I think this might be a really important thing is you've heard of Jaspreet Singh from Minority Mindset. You probably watch his content.
I saw him commented on your video.
He does. Well, so my favorite videos of his are from like 7 years ago. He used to go out on the streets and he'd find random people and he would say, hey, what's inflation? Just ask 10 random financial questions. And it was the most entertaining thing because you'd have a person who, the average person, demonstrating they just don't know this information. So I think if you do this 50 people from start to finish, there'll be points in the conversation where they ask a question and it clearly indicates they needed your input,
right?
But wouldn't have even known to ask. And now the person who's watching didn't know they needed that information either. And so I really like watching somebody who has done it, has successfully done it, bringing somebody along.
Yeah, my intention, I used to call those when I used to take products from whiteboards to $100 million, I called them light bulb moments. My job was to create light bulb moments. And that's what I'm trying to do with this 50 people. I just don't know if it's going to work out. So we'll see. So, Dion, thank you very much.